No doubt, the Caribbean Motor Racing Championship Round 1 at the Bushy Park Circuit in Barbados. But first, some very important information from the CEO of Bushy Park Circuit Inc., BPCI, Mr. Mark Maloney.
Okay, Mark, can you give us some indication as to why we had the largest race meet, the international, and the turnout from the public of Barbados was so poor over the weekend?
Yeah, absolutely, Jimmy, and thank you for accommodating me with this interview at such an important time. And I thought that it would be a good thing for me to come out and talk to the public of Barbados on the issues that are hindering the facility that we have here from being able to have the normal patrons that we have at big events. Just finishing what is normally the largest racing event, the CMRC event in Barbados, and having such a poor turnout, I felt that those that hadn't come here and watched and those that came here and watched would be watching race 1 tonight to be able to see what they didn't get to see here, and those that got to see it here would want to watch some of the action again, because it was truly a fantastic event. But as we all know, an event is only one side of it, and the clubs put on the show, but if there's no patrons here, then the sponsors don't get to benefit from the exposure that they need, and neither do the drivers. And this facility that we see here has been built for Barbados and for persons visiting Barbados to enjoy, and we need to do everything that we have to do to accommodate persons that come here to watch the various shows. Leading up to the CMRC, we had discussions on the forums and social media and so on, that persons were complaining that they couldn't bring coolers and so on into the facility. We did pay heed to it, but I guess we didn't take the comments as seriously as we should, and we didn't think that would turn people off to the extent that it did, because truth be told, perception sometimes becomes reality when people talk and then nobody comes and counteracts the talk. So for example, here at the facility you could get 4 beers for $10. I think that's a very competitive price, and I don't see why anybody would want to bring in beers, but we do understand the issue with food, and from here on in we're going to open the facility in the grounds to allow persons to bring their food. We're not going to allow bottles in the facility or cans, because that's a major safety issue that we just can't. We would have to suffer the consequences, but we simply cannot allow bottles and cans into the facility, because it has to be a safe environment. When people are drinking alcohol, bottles get broken, or bottles get left on the ground or broken, people step on them, similarly to cans, and it's a no bottle or no can facility, and we'd hope that persons would appreciate that. It's not us trying to restrict anyone from bringing in to the facility and only buying from the patrons, from the vendors on the facility. That's not the intention. We do have obligations to sponsors that we have to meet, but what we are going to do is we're going to allow persons to bring food, allow persons to bring their coolers, allow persons to bring everything other than bottles and cans. So if they want to bring their vodka, they can bring it in plastic, and they can buy their whatever else that they need to buy here at the facility, and hopefully that will make a difference. We do understand the culture where people want to cook their own food and they come here to have a picnic as a family and so on, and we do also understand that times are hard, people are getting laid off, and this facility can only be successful if you have patrons, and we know that. We've made mistakes, not intentionally. Everything that we've done, as I said, we're sincere about what we do, and it's not to take advantage of anybody, because you can't take advantage of anybody. We can't get someone to do something that they don't want. We do appreciate the feedback. We do appreciate the constructive criticism. I myself have been following it very closely. We're actually going to try to see if we can get some of those persons that had responsible constructive criticism to work with us to be ambassadors of the facility, because those are people that care about Bushy Park. We know the race fans care. We know that people of Barbados love the facility. We've put our heart and soul into it, and it's a tremendous investment and a big risk for us. And we want it to be sustainable, and it will be sustainable if we do the right things. It's disheartening to know that that you, the patrons, didn't come out to watch it. We understand why you didn't. We appreciate and respect it. And thanks to Jimmy Gittins and his team at Race 1, tonight you'll get the opportunity to see some of what took place, and hope that you enjoy it, and we look forward to being able to welcome you back at this magnificent facility where everybody in Barbados will get a chance to enjoy.
Big up to Race 1.
It took less than a year for the redeveloped Bushy Park Racing Circuit to reopen, and it was in May that Barbados ushered in a superb FIA Category 3 track with the hosting of the Top Gear Festival. Now in July, the full 2-kilometer track comes under attack as some of the Caribbean's top drivers descended on the Bushy Park Circuit for the Bushy Park Motorsports Inc. Digicel Williams International Race Meet. This event was said to also be the first round of the Seaboard Marine Caribbean Motor Racing Championships, with everyone from Guyana, Jamaica, Trinidad, and host Barbados eager to show what they could do on the new surface. On pole for the first race was Barbados' Roger Mears in his Ford Focus, who was almost a full second faster than second-place Doug Gore from Jamaica. Even before the race started, Guyana's Kevin Jeffrey needed the assistance of the marshals on the infield with his Mitsubishi Evolution 8. After about 5 laps and a false start, which we see here, racing finally got underway with the cars gridded properly for the rolling start of Group 4 action. Not surprising, it was pole sitter Roger Mears who pulled ahead but never made it any further than this first corner. On the inside was Doug Gore and the outside Guyana's Mark Vieira. A slight touch left Mears with a damaged rear right wheel, and the 12-competitor-strong field had to take evasive action to avoid a collision with him. With Mears out, leading the first race was Mark Vieira, followed by Doug Gore, Barbados' Stuart Williams, Barry Mears, Trinidad's Christian Boodoo Singh, Jamaica's Peter Ray, Guyana's Christian Jeffrey, Barbados' Mark Maloney, followed by Doug Maloney, and Guyana's Andrew King just loses control here. This meet was expected to be one of the best, as all of the top drivers in the Caribbean wanted a feel of the new raceway. Leading the way after starting third on the grid was Vieira in his Mazda RX-8, who had not competed outside of Guyana since 2011. Giving chase is the defending CMRC champion Doug Gore, who spins his Audi TTR DTM on the exit of the first corner on the second lap and falls to the back of the pack. Back at the front, Mark Vieira passes his beached countryman Andrew King. Some distance back now in second place was Stuart Williams, Barry Mears, and Christian Jeffrey, while Mark Maloney makes his way past Boodoo Singh. Down the straight and into the kink, and the Bajan pair of Barry Mears and Stuart Williams come under pressure from the young Christian Jeffrey for second place. All does not seem right with Mark Vieira's Mazda RX-8. Christian Jeffrey splits Barry Mears and Stuart Williams to snatch second place. And here, Guyana's Christian Jeffrey inherits first place as Mark Vieira begins to run out of gas before the finish of the race. Now, Mark Maloney has the pair of Mears and Williams in his crosshairs. Maloney dives down the inside of Mears to take third, but Mears immediately fights back. Leading the race on his debut in Barbados, Christian Jeffrey, who has been competing in Canada. Jeffrey is all alone at the front. Seems like a one-man race. The battle was now on for second, and Stuart Williams goes wide on the turn, and Mark Maloney dives down the inside, followed by Barry Mears, who also takes advantage of the situation. Here's how it stands. Jeffrey leading from Mark Maloney, while Stuart Williams is fighting back for his third place against Barry Mears, who was having injector problems even before the start of the race meet. But there is no stopping the 25-year-old Christian Jeffrey, who wins his first race in the car and in Barbados, while Mark Maloney was second and Stuart Williams third. A proud father, Kevin Jeffrey runs to the side of the track to celebrate his son's victory.
Christian Jeffrey, you came first in your first race in Barbados. How does it feel?
It's incredible, man. I was able to capitalize on a lot of things that went on the track. There's a lot of people mixing up, touching up in the race, so the track was very slippery, and I was just lucky to come out on top, man.
Did you expect such a good place in your first race?
Not at all. I was just hoping to make up as much numbers as possible, and fortunately it worked out, man.
Kevin Jeffrey, bad luck. Tell us what happened.
Well, guys, in qualifying yesterday, we damaged our engine, and the guys worked all night to put in a next spare engine we had. From lap 1, it was missing, but I think I'm out for the day. But take this opportunity to congratulate my son on his debut win at CMRC. Really proud of him. All the effort and time that he put preparing himself for this occasion is proved fruitful, and I hope some of the sponsors out there will see his talent, acknowledge it, and so he can fulfill his potential.
Mark Vieira, first race over, you were leading at one stage. What happened?
We actually went down in the first turn, the focus spun. I gained the lead from going around the outside. It was pretty hectic the first couple of laps. The track's very dirty with a lot of brakes and stuff like that from the race before. What happened, we did about 5 or 6 laps warm up and had to miss starts, and that kind of killed it for me. At the end of it all, we ran out of gas, believe it or not. We put in enough gas for 4 laps or 3 laps. We did actually do 6 laps.
So what's the plan for the next race?
Put enough fuel in it this time.
In terms of the track, what do you think of the track?
It's really beautiful. I mean, it's incredible. It's great to see the Badians come out, and it's a good investment for the country. I like it a lot. I hope we can get one in Guyana.
Doug, first race, something happened.
Well, the race took forever to start, and what happens with these tires that I have on, once they get cold, there's no grip at all. Coming out of the corners just on the warm-up laps, the car was just all over the place. So, Guyana got me a little worried what's going to happen down at the end of the first corner. When the lights finally went green and we went down there, Barry basically just kind of shut the door. Roger just shut the door on me. At that point, and I'm late braking and biting the inside. There was no way that I could correct out of that. And we touched, it's unfortunate, Vieira that now got in front of us. And, I was looking forward to the battle with Vieira. And again, the tires were just still cold and just could not get back the heat. I mean, it was just the start of the race. And the car spun. I mean, it's a pity. Because, he went and broke down after that. So it would have been a cruise to a win. But anyway, one of those things,
Roger Mears, tough luck in the first corner. Tell us what happened.
Yeah, bad luck, I guess. Some dirty driving, in my opinion. Started the race, came into the first corner, had to clear right away. Taking my line going around the corner, and Doug Gore dove down on the inside, and I guess his whole plan was to flatten my right rear tire. Very, very unsportsman-like driving, and I'm very disappointed in him.
In terms of the car before then, you guys were on the grid pretty long. How did that affect you?
No major things apart from being very hot inside. But no major issues. And luckily, it seems as though it was only damage to the tire and rim. The car is ready to go again. I just have to decide if I am.
Mark Maloney, finally the first race is over. How did it feel?
Felt great. I started at the back. We had some gearbox problems yesterday, so I didn't get to qualify. And fortunately for us, they didn't have the first race of the CMRC yesterday evening because of the motorcycle accident, and they were running late. So all 3 races are running today, and we started at the back of the first race and ended up second. had some carnage up front, and then they also had some others up front that I got past, Stuart Williams and Barry Mears, and some of the other cars that weren't running as good as I was, and I felt really good after all that I've been through, and being able to make it to the front of the pack. I couldn't quite get to the guy in front, we didn't have enough time, but I was catching him, and if I had a couple more laps I would have been able to take him out as well.